huge ego, but a very short memory. Case in point, Rahul Gandhi. Let me remind you what he had said to the media way back in 2021. He said, do whatever you feel is right, but if there is injustice or violence against you, then I will always be with you. That was Rahul Gandhi writing on Twitter last year. Now let me show you what his own brother-in-law, Robert Vadra, is up to. His request to quash the ED probe against him was rejected by the Rajasthan High Court. Yesterday, they granted him protection from arrest but refused to suspend the investigation. So naturally, our reporters wanted to hear Robert Vadra's response to that. It's our job, it's the job of the media to seek a response. But take a look at what Mr. Vadra did when my colleague Shreya asked him a very simple, benign question in the politest manner. Listen in.
There you can see Robert Vadra over here. Sir, just one response. Sir, just one response from you, sir.
This guy?
Sir,
police case karo inke upar. Police case karo inke upar.
Sir, just one response from you, sir. What will be your next course of action, sir? Well, there you can see Robert Vadra without, in fact, speaking, leaving his residence. Sir, just one response I'm asking, sir.
That is Mr. Vadra for you. Arrogant, brash and entitled. As you heard in that clip, there was nothing, absolutely nothing offensive about Shreya's question. This was a professional job that Shreya was doing. He asked Mr. Vadra what he will do next. And what does Mr. Vadra do? He threatens to file a police case against the journalist. So much for freedom of press. The fact is, Robert Vadra is a public personality. His in-laws lead the biggest opposition party in this country. And he's currently accused of illegal land grabbing. So what's the problem if a journalist asks him a question? Also, what happened to Rahul Gandhi's stall claims of protecting press freedom? He promised to protect journalists from injustice and threats. Well, here's a perfect example of both. But something tells me Rahul Gandhi will not be tweeting or outraging about this. BJP leaders, of course, are lining up to criticize Robert Vadra's outburst that we saw yesterday. Listen in to some of the big reactions that came in.
Ma'am, yesterday a reporter was threatened by Robert Vadra for saying, asking a question about what is going to be the next step. He said that he's going to file a police case against the reporter, while Rahul Gandhi talks about free media and he often uses the chant "Daro mat." What happens when the media is asking the question?
I guess Mr. Gandhi has to tell his brother-in-law, "Darao mat."
This is the same Congress that has invoked the emergency and abrogated fundamental rights. And so it suits Rahul Gandhi to occasionally surface and talk about freedom of press. But when it comes to very important questions relating to his family, obviously the freedom of the press is no longer relevant. So I think this is just the continuing saga of contradictions that Rahul Gandhi and his family represent. The dynasty of the Congress is famously known or infamously known for doublespeak all the time.
Anil Tyagi is the editor of G-Files. He's also a member of the Editors Guild. He's joining us for a very quick chat on what we have seen. Anil, by now I'm fairly certain you have seen this video clip that has gone viral. Mr. Vadra behaving very badly, in fact, almost threatening a journalist who's asking him a simple, obvious professional question. So much for the freedom of press that Rahul Gandhi advocates. Maybe it is time for him to sit down, Robert Vadra, and tell him a thing or two about this freedom of press, about how it is the freedom of press to ask questions. It's our job, and that's exactly what we'll continue to do despite these dhamkis that we have seen.
Robert Vadra is the asset and liability of the Congress family, Rahul Gandhi family, one must understand. And there is no secret that he has allegedly amassed the unaccounted wealth in the country. And particularly the Bikaner case, the 72 lakh rupees property has become the 5 crore property. That is what your team has gone to ask. There is one question about the media also. I am not speaking on behalf of the Editor Guild also. Then media has to be very sensitive. At the time of when the Rahul Gandhi is walking, and particularly he's in Delhi and COVID restrictions are being imposed, and your reporter has gone there at his residence. What one can do? I am not defending Robert Vadra. What one can do in the morning itself, see a huge crowd of the reporters or the one of the prominent channels correspondent is at his door. He could have avoided the situation, but he is temperamental. He has done it there at the 2014 also, when your reporter asked the questions about the legal gratifications. So that happens.
Okay.
I am not talking about that, but the freedom of the press should be maintained in a dignified way. I ask many people in the country where we are. Has anybody till now, today, the 13th July 2022, DRI got 350 crore rupees heroin from the Adani port? Nobody has asked Mr. Adani what is the thing is there. And if you ask Mr. Adani what has been alleged, his response will be same. See, the people who have the might of the power, and the wealth, they behave in the same fashion as Mr. Vadra has behaved. There's nothing great. And we poor journalists are the victim.
Okay.
And we should be ready, like an army man, that we can be attacked and abused and misbehaved by people like Vadra. So nothing great about it.
But Mr. Tyagi, there has to be a provocation. Okay, you're saying nothing great. Okay, but here's my limited point is, thank you very much for this chat. But my limited point is that where was the provocation? A court order has come. It is obvious that a journalist who's tracking that court order will ask you a question about that court order. Was any line crossed? No line was crossed. Was Aishwarya not polite to him? Of course, he was absolutely polite to him. He asked a very simple, obvious question. There was nothing provocative about it.
No. I
we leave it there, Mr. Tyagi. I understand what you said. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, there was. I agree with you. That's what you said as well. That absolutely no provocation and absolutely no reason for Mr. Vadra to have behaved the way he did. And it's not just Robert Vadra. Attacking and muzzling the press seems to be the strategy of the Punjab government as well. Their weapon is advertisements. You see, government ads are a major source of income for all media companies, for newspapers, for news channels, and even digital platforms.